I mean, I wanted to keep doing it, and I assumed you did too, because we made out for pretty much the whole movie. Mm-hmm. And then... And then the movie was over and the credits rolled. And the lights came on. And you couldn't get away from me fast enough. You practically ran. It made me wish we'd gone there together so that you didn't have an excuse to just get away from me. That hurt. I'm so glad you got a table. This place is like packed. And you got the good one back in the corner. Good for you. What do you mean, what am I doing? Probably the same thing you are. Yeah, I haven't really even started, and it's due in less than a week. So, you started last week, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so... Oh, good, you have some of the books I need. Okay, why do you look so uncomfortable right now? Well, when your best friend sits at your table, you're not supposed to look like it's a hardship. Don't give me that. Look, I know we need to talk. Of course I do. You think I don't know you've been avoiding me for, 2 weeks now? So we're gonna talk now, and we're not leaving this library until we figure this out. Okay, no. If our friendship means anything to you, you're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk it out, and by the time we leave here, it's going to be fixed. Got it? I mean, you're free to go, but do you really want to throw away that many years of friendship? The awkward tension is going to make sure we have no friendship left if we don't deal with this. Okay, so, I've been thinking about how to broach this with you, how to say what I need to say, and all I keep coming back to is what happened that night. Was it bad? Did you not like it? I know. I know it was different and it was new and it wasn't expected. I mean, we don't make out at parties under blankets while we're watching movies with people in the room. We don't make out at all. We're not that kind of friends. But that night, you know as well as I do that as soon as the lights went off and the blanket went up, because they didn't obviously have enough to go around, as soon as it went over us, there was just like a spark or something. And I know that sounds cheesy and cliche and horrible, but I'm trying not to yell because we're in a library, but I liked what happened between us. Probably more than I should have. Why would I think you were a creep? If I thought you were a creep, I would have slapped you and told you to keep your mouth and your hands to yourself. But I didn't, did I? I was okay with it. I wanted you to do it. That feeling that happened when the lights went off, it was like weird anticipation, just making my stomach go tight and fluttery. And when your hand touched mine under the blanket, I got goosebumps. And it wasn't cold in there. So when you gave me that look and you leaned toward me, it was the most natural thing in the world to lean back. And I mean, I've laid my head on your shoulder during movies a million times. In fact, I do that quite frequently because I'm always cold and you're not. So that was not unusual. But when you turned to look at me, and we looked at each other at the same time, the only thing I could do was hold my breath when you moved forward to kiss me. Of course I was scared. Well, It's one thing to just make out with a rando at a party and never see them again, and who cares? But when it's your best friend, that's terrifying because in that single second, everything changed. And that doesn't mean that our friendship has to be any different, but we know it happened and we wanted it to happen and it was good. I thought it would be weird, but it wasn't. It was the complete opposite. It was honestly the best kiss I've ever had. Not that I have a whole lot of experience, but I've kissed a couple people and, well, nothing felt like that. I mean, I wanted to keep doing it, and I assumed you did too, because we made out for pretty much the whole movie. Mm-hmm. And then the movie was over and the credits rolled. And the lights came on. And you couldn't get away from me fast enough. You practically ran. It made me wish we'd gone there together so that you didn't have an excuse to just get away from me. That hurt. Well, I was confused, and I figured we'd at least talk about it or something, but then you were gone. You literally just bolted. Okay, you're sorry. Sure, but why? Why did you do that? And why have you been avoiding me since? Well, I understand that. It was intense, and it was a lot, all at once. It scared me too. What do you mean you're not supposed to feel that way about me? Yeah, I'm your best friend. I've been your best friend for years, but there's no rules. You had the same aha moment that night that I did. That you do feel that way about me, and I feel that way about you. Well, you realize by bolting like that and trying to not ruin our friendship, you've effectively done just that, right? It made it weird anyway. As much as that was what you were trying to avoid, it happened. You think I know how to act around you now? I had to track you down in the library where I know your assignment is so big and all-encompassing that you wouldn't run away from me. And even then, you tried. So yeah, I get it. You should have just asked me. You should have talked to me. We could have gone for a walk or a drive or something that night. And we could have talked about it. I would have told you exactly how I felt. And then you would know. That's why it hurt so much that you were avoiding me. I thought that you regretted what happened, that you didn't want it to happen, and it was just a spur-of-the-moment thing, and then all of a sudden, your best friend was just off limits because it was too awkward. No? I mean, the awkwardness is part of it, absolutely, but you realize what we've just done, right? We just kind of put it all out there. I'm glad you got the table in the back corner. Well, if we'd been out in the main area with all the tables pushed together, the librarian would have been over here yelling because I was getting pretty loud there at one point. And I don't really want everybody to listen. It's not really a public conversation. So, what happens now? Well, we just admitted that we feel differently than we did before, and I really hope we're not going to try to do that whole we're just going to be friends so we don't lose the friendship thing because as much as I love being your friend, I want to explore that. I want to figure that out. So what are we going to do? Okay, all right, fair. Well, that's probably a good move. Finish this assignment so we don't fail the class. But then what do we do? Yeah? I'd like that. I'd like to have a coffee and figure this out. Now that we know we're on the same page. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. On one condition, though. Well, if we go out and have a coffee and figure this out, will you kiss me again?